to Study with the Best, the magazine show about CUNY. I'm Tinabeth Pina.
This month's episode is all about cuisine. We'll visit a sake samurai, a famous restaurateur, and a chef who grew up in Ethiopia, all with some connection to CUNY. But first,
we're here at the New York City College of Technology in Brooklyn, affectionately known as City Tech. Today we're looking at City Tech's hospitality management program. We have pastry art instructors Susan Lifreiri-Lowry and Joanne Jacus, who are with the hospitality program. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
So what exactly is the hospitality program?
We have culinary arts, pastry arts, and tourism as our areas of focus. So students, when they graduate here, can either go work in a restaurant as a pastry chef or a chef. They could work in a hotel as a concierge or in room service. They could be restaurant managers. They can go into wine and beverage management, so they could become a sommelier in a restaurant. We graduate about 150 students a year, and we have a current student body of about 900 at the school at one time.
So I've noticed that we have dough on the table. And so what are we going to do with this dough exactly?
I'm going to show you how to roll it out. It's one of the basic skills that we teach our Baking 1 students. This is flaky dough, and we can tell that because it's got pieces of fat in the dough. And I like to use some butter and some shortening in the dough. So
this will be what not to do. This will be what to do.
Put a little flour, okay? And what I tell the students is that the dough should be able to move around while you're rolling it.
Okay.
And you're going to take it and roll it very lightly. The dough is pretty soft. I've had it out tempering to room temperature so that it's easier to roll out. Then you're going to take the dough and you're going to pick it up and you're going to turn it this way and pull in some of that flour that I sprinkled for you. And then you're going to roll it in different directions, but keeping the round shape, so a little bit at an angle. And you want to keep even pressure, so you can pick up the dough and then put it in the pie pan. Yours has to be a little bit bigger. Pick up the sides, not press it, so that you're not thinning out the crust too much.
So while I'm struggling here with my pie crust, let's take a look at a City Tech student who really knows what she's doing. This is as good as I get with baking.
It's mostly chocolate. It's got to be 75% chocolate, 25% sugar. It was really hard trying to get everything together, but the past 2 weeks I've been doing it every single day, and I definitely needed more time. What time is it? I'm getting nervous. I hope to win. I am not thinking so highly because I don't like to do that. I don't want to be too disappointed in case of anything, but winning would be amazing. We didn't finish the edge.
She has a lot of potential. She needs to realize it. She needs to take the reins herself. So this is her first solo competition where she's actually competing on her own for herself. She gets all the credit.
Okay, the reason why we have a student competition is it's because it's a stepping stone for them into the professional world. I think it's so important for them to get the grounding at college level because they may never enter a competition in their life again. They're all excited about this. They're all obviously intent in doing what they're doing and trying to do it extremely well.
Still a little nervous because I have to plate 7 desserts and my petit fours, so I still have some stuff to do.
All of you are welcome here, and I hope you've looked at the competition, and one day you will compete at the U.S. Pastry Competition. So welcome to all.
There's some competition that I see. There's a lot of nice work here, so I don't know. We'll see. I'm nervous.
I expect to see an effort in especially the plated dessert and the petit fours because at heart we are cooks and our intent is to make things taste good.
Hello everyone. My name is Kristen Battaglia. This is my dessert today. Sorry. Okay, here you go. You're gonna get a nice chocolate sponge, and at the end there is almond sablé.
Junior Pastry Chef Challenge Grand Prize winner, $1,000 gold medal, goes to Kristen Battaglia.
Professor Smith, without him, I would not have been able to do any of it. So I am so thankful for him for introducing me to this competition and allowing me to let him be my mentor. He was amazing. I couldn't have done it without her. We won.
So Susan, you must be so proud that Kristen won this competition.
Oh, I'm thrilled that Kristen won the competition. Kristen was a student of mine in some of the classes, and this was the first ever student pastry competition, and to have one of our students take home the grand prize is amazing.
Yeah.
When I went and saw her piece, I was like, oh my God, if she doesn't win, something's wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
But now we have another student here.
Yes.
Stephanie. And Stephanie, you're going to show us what every well-equipped home kitchen should have when it comes to knives.
For the home kitchen, every home cook should have a chef knife, and then we have the paring knife, and this is the steel to sharpen our knives. You have to use a sharp knife, right? They say like you're most likely to get cut with a dull knife than a sharp knife. Yes. And then this is the boning knife. All right.
So tell me about the chef knife.
The chef knife is the knife that we use mostly in the kitchen. We use it for vegetables like onions and stuff, and it's the versatile knife.
And the paring knife, is there a proper way to use it?
Use it to cut small things, and if you want to peel something.
And is there anything that you can do when you're handling these knives to lessen the chance of cutting yourself?
Just careful, pay attention. Keep your fingers tucked is another thing.
And when you said keep your fingers tucked, how do you do that?
Like, keep your fingers and use like your finger as a guide. So they say the middle finger as a guide.
Thank you, Stephanie. When you run a kitchen at a place called Porterhouse, New York in the Time Warner Center, you have to know about knives. City Tech alum Michael Lomonaco talks about his rise to the top of the food chain.
2 crab cake, right? 2 scallops, right? This is my home. It suits me. And I want it to feel like home and welcoming to my diners. Grew up in Brooklyn. I went to City Tech. It was really the city that I wanted to practice cooking in. That's a porterhouse. All that beautiful. So it's a great steak. What makes beef brine is it's called the marble, and that's the amount of fat that's within the meat itself, and not just the fat that's on the outside, but what's in the meat. And that marble is what gives meat flavor and tenderness. My father came here from Sicily in 1924. My family has been here. My mother was born on the Lower East Side. Having a restaurant in New York, this is what my dream was. I take great pride and joy in being here every day. My name is Michael Lomonaco, and I'm the chef and managing partner of Porterhouse, New York, and also now Center Bar, which is located here at the Time Warner Center. Porterhouse, New York opened in 2006. I had an opportunity for this space here at the Time Warner Center. The idea was for it to be a great American steakhouse. An American steakhouse is really part of the history of American restaurants. We can trace our sense of hospitality, conviviality, generosity, American warmth to these early days of steakhouses. I worked with Cyril Macchioni at Le Cirque. I worked with the original owners of the 21 Club at 21. I worked with Joe Baum at Windows on the World. So it wasn't just the restaurants, it wasn't just the kitchens that I was part of, but it was also this arc of American restaurant history. When I was first starting out, there were very few chef-owned restaurants. And over the last 30 years, chefs have turned into the owners. As a chef, it really meant establishing what is the food about, what is the experience about, and being interested in not only the back of the house, but also the front of the house. All of that actually fits me really well. Everything is cooked when the orders come in, and that's the key to a great, I think, to a great kitchen. If you can come to a restaurant that serves dry-aged prime beef, Scottish game birds, great lobsters from Maine, wild striped bass from Montauk, that's an American grill. For me, that's a great American restaurant. I think any restaurant really needs to have not only leadership and a leader, but it needs to have a vision. You need to know where you're going every day, and to stay true to that message means that it's authentic and it really resonates with the diner. It just is about details, and it always comes down to one plate at a time, one detail at a time. The real lesson to be learned is the need for constant awareness of trends, cycles, and the need to keep learning.
Welcome back to Study with the Best, the magazine show about CUNY. So when I think about dessert, I think about cakes and cookies, and apparently I should be thinking about fruit. Susan, what's that all about?
Well, you know, Tinabeth, this day and age, everybody's talking about health and watching what you're eating. And in a lot of European countries, they don't eat desserts on a regular basis. They usually have fruit for dessert after a meal. So even if you're a home cook and you want to serve something light to your guests, this is something you could do ahead of time, put it in the refrigerator and just serve it. So it's kind of like a fancy fruit salad, just using citrus fruits which are in season this time of year. We're going to make nice wedges out of the grapefruit, so it adds eye appeal, presentation, and people aren't dealing with the fibers that are in there, and it's easy to eat. And you cut in between the membranes, and you get nice wedges, nice clean wedges. They come out very easy. You can go up and down like this. And we have some sections of grapefruit and orange ready. So Tiffany's going to take a mixture of the grapefruit and the orange and put it in the bowl. You could do, grapefruit, orange. You could put a slice of kiwi in there for color, some strawberries, some raspberries on top. And then we're gonna just jazz this up a little bit of honey drizzled on top. You could use a little orange blossom honey on this. And just drizzle it a little bit on top of the fruit. So you could either put a sprig of mint, or I also did a little Juliana mint.
While I try this, let's visit with Spoons Across America and see what they taught kids about honey.
I think it's best to be healthy. I think it's important to eat healthy because so you can be strong enough, because that helps me grow. It tastes better. We learn about honey.
Spoons Across America has been around since 2001, and we're a nonprofit. We teach children, teachers, and families, parents, about the benefits of healthy eating and promote the idea of cooking together and sitting together around the family table.
Who would like to see the honeycomb? I want you to use your nose and your eyes and see the different colors. Some are really light and some are really dark, okay?
Our founder, Julia Jordan, is a professor at City Tech, CUNY. There's a Spoons Club at City Tech at CUNY. And we get so many different volunteers that come, and they work with the kids, they cook with the kids, they may read a story.
Excellent. Fred watches his bees fly out into his backyard garden and the other gardens on the block.
Too often we see that kids are grabbing something to eat very quickly, or coming home and having fast food, which doesn't give them a lot of energy and an inability to learn. We also find that kids are disconnected from their families often. Kids that sit down at the table with their families several times a week are less likely to have problems in school, so we think it's an important value. They're always very, very excited when we come to their school. They know that when Spoons comes, they're going to get to taste something good. They're going to get to learn something that they didn't know before. The exciting thing about honey, many kids really have never really eaten honey, which is what we've been doing today. But they also don't know that honey comes from their rooftops, right in the city, that you don't have to go visit a farm that's outside of the city to have food that's from farm to table.
All around is quiet Brooklyn City. Near the edge of the roof is another tiny city. It has 3 houses, each with 2 white stories and 1 red story. And inside, thousands of tiny rooms made of wax.
Really, the idea is, how do you eat a balanced meal? How do you understand what it took for your food to get from where it started to you? Now, you may end up eating a tomato that's from California because you really like tomatoes, but you want to know how far that tomato traveled, how many gallons of gas needed to be used, or how it affected the pollution. They also have the opportunity to meet a range of volunteers, all sorts of different people that can come into their lives and affect who they are, affect what they might want to be. We've had kids that say, oh, I want to be a chef, after a chef visited their classroom, or I want to be a farmer, or I want to go to the farmer's market with my parents. And so we try to model good behavior and model all the opportunities that they have, things to be and places to go.
Honey, honey, woo! Tastes like berries. It's good, they're really good. My hands are sticky. It almost tastes like a banana.
We're back at City Tech. Do you have a spice rack at home? Well, spices don't last forever. So how long are they usable for?
You know, different spices have different shelf lives. Whole spices actually last longer than ground spices. So whole spices like whole nutmeg and these are cloves and cinnamon sticks, they're good for anywhere from 2 to 4 years. But once spices are ground, they tend to oxidize faster. The oils are exposed to air and they start to break down, and they're good for like 1 to 3 years. It depends how fast you use them too. You know, they recommend buying spices in smaller quantities, like little jars. But also spices will last longer if they're packed in glass or metal. They also say to test your spices. If you're not sure, take a pinch of spice and rub it between your fingers, and then you could smell it, and it should have a fragrance to it.
Cinnamon.
A robust fragrance. The same thing, color. Spices should be vibrant. You can see the cloves are very dark. These are kind of red, but if they turn kind of brown, they've lost some of their potency as well. And the same thing, we were talking about spices, but we have herbs too. And herbs come in dry and fresh. And it's usually a 3-to-1 ratio. Because the dry herbs are so much concentrated, you'd use 1 teaspoon of dried or 3 teaspoons of fresh. Fresh herbs are going to add a different flavor than dried, but dried herbs definitely have their place in your spice cabinet. But there's nothing like adding fresh cilantro or fresh parsley to finish off a dish. You wouldn't, like, I wouldn't want to finish off guacamole with dried cilantro.
Sure.
You know, it doesn't have the same flavor. And the same thing with Italian parsley. We use it for finishing a lot of dishes.
So I've been schooled on herbs and spices, and one country that relies on a mix of rich and tasty spices is Ethiopia. And one City Tech alum originally from there is developing innovative menus for New York restaurants.
Just gonna record everywhere I go. Oh, okay.
Ever since I was little, you know, I'm always in the kitchen with my mother. My mother will always tell me, go play with the kids. And I always say, no, I don't want to play. I want to learn how to cook. So it just motivated me to become, you know, a chef. I work at the Peninsula, New York as a 5-star, 5-diamond hotel.
Kubee as a chef, wow, first of all, she's a fantastic person and has a great personality, a lot of passion for what she's doing, which is very important in the kitchen.
come from Ethiopia, but I grew up in the village, a little town called Dukam. It's an hour from Addis Ababa, which is the capital of Ethiopia. We're a big family, 9 brothers and sisters. My father is a farmer, and when I was 11, my parents, they wanted the best life for me, so I was adopted by my uncle who lives in Addis Ababa. I didn't know how to write or read, and I didn't speak the city language. I spoke another language, and then from there, my uncle decided to bring the family to America. When I came, they say she's 13, so she has to be in the 7th grade. I didn't know anything. I just knew yes or no. I caught up in 8th grade. So from high school, I graduated with honors. And I graduated magna cum laude from college also.
I like to describe Kubee as delicious. That's my word for her.
Professor Shively, how are you? Kubee, welcome back. So good to see you. How you been?
I mean, I still come and visit it even after 5 years I left the school. It's like my house, basically.
Kubee won the Les Dames d'Escoffier Award, which is a prestigious award. Les Dames d'Escoffier is a group of women chefs and executives in the food world who will then guide and mentor Kubee through her career.
It is my absolute pleasure to have you here and for us to celebrate one of our Legacy Award winners and her family, because it's always generational, always.
We want to keep the fermentation inside. So there's Mama's doing it.
Since childhood, she likes cooking, and she was capturing everything I showed her. I tried to advise her to go for another lesson,
yes,
but she refused.
Said, nope, I want to be a chef.
Yeah. And then my husband insisted that if that is her interest, let's go. And that's how we did end up, like, you know, the Kubee that today, who is a big chef in New York.
Oh, thank you. Ethiopian food, you have to make it from the bottom of your heart because it's something to enjoy as a family. So I like making the food, and hopefully in the long run, soon, I'll open my own restaurant, Ethiopian Italian cuisine. So that's my dream. So you cut off a piece. I don't know how big you want to eat, but small piece. Then the 2 fingers go in the middle, pick up, then fold the other one, then like that, and then. That's good.
So, do you have to be Japanese to be a samurai? Well, I met someone born in France who had just such an honor bestowed upon him. This is a samurai. This is also a samurai. Meet Roger Dagorn, master sommelier and sake samurai. Can you explain that to me a little? What is a sake samurai?
Because of my work in introducing sake to the American public in fine dining establishments, I did get recognition from the sake producers for my endeavors.
That's right. Instead of a sword, this samurai wields a corkscrew.
They spared me the sword. I was invited to be inducted as a sake samurai. There are, I think, less than 30 of us worldwide, and I think only 9 outside of Japan.
Dagorn's home base is the elegant Tocqueville restaurant in Union Square. He's also beverage consultant to its nearby sister establishment, the Japanese restaurant 15 East. In addition to sake, Dagorn is a wine expert, as he is also one of only 200 master sommeliers in the entire world.
I live and breathe wine, sake, food. Voila. You have to understand where the grapes come from and how the wine is made, how to store wine. Afterwards, you have to learn how to taste wine, how to sell wine, be able to harmonize wine and sake and spirits with food. It's a fun profession. It's challenging, and you never stop learning.
And in Roger's case, never stop teaching. What courses in particular do you teach at City Tech?
Introductory course to wine, which is a required course for those students in the hospitality management program. I teach the French advanced class, the Italian advanced class, and the advanced class on New World wines.
But the real star of the show today is sake. Now, sake is a type of wine, no?
No.
No?
No.
School me
That's
on sake.
a little bit of a misnomer. I think the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms calls it rice wine. But the term wine is the fermented beverage of a fruit. And sake is made from rice, which is a grain. So in effect, it's closer to beer in its production than wine. I have here an interesting sake. This one here is called Miyasaka Yamahai 50 Nama. And this is also a Nama sake, or a unpasteurized draft sake. Just like draft beer, it'll only last a couple of weeks, then it'll spoil. Do you smell the fruitiness? Do you smell the rice?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But it's a Yamahai, which means that it has a more of a lactic aroma to it.
I'm gonna get Yamahai with this. No, sorry. Sushi. Sake would go really well with sushi, right?
Sake is not the ideal beverage to go with sushi because it's like having rice with rice.
Oh, how about with sashimi?
But with sashimi, it's perfectly suited. Well, let me have you taste this, because this is one of my favorites. I think you'll find it on the palate richer.
I like this one better. Doesn't have that, I guess, alcohol-y taste as much.
And yet it's higher in alcohol than that.
So this is more dangerous.
Yes, it is.
It figures that the one that I like is the more dangerous one. And if you want to see Roger in action, visit him at Tocqueville Restaurant at 1 East 15th Street off 5th Avenue. Well, Susan and Joanne, thank you very much. And if people want to learn more about the City Tech Hospitality Program, they should visit what? citytech.cuny.edu. And for even more things CUNY, visit our website at cuny.edu, or you can Facebook and tweet us at CUNY TV. See you next time. Bon appetit. Buen provecho.
Today we learn about bees. Bees. Most of the times I use honey for my breakfast. They come out of the hive and get nectar from the flower, and then they go to the high cone and put the honey and then flap their wings to make it thick. My little brother says that he likes the fruits and the vegetables from the market. Because the food from the market, my mom says that it is really healthy.